What's going on, people of the Lord? I'm so glad to be here today. We're about to get into another vocal clinic, and I want you to bring all your questions. We're going live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And so I'm looking at Instagram over here on my screen. So if you got questions, please type them in the chat. And then I've got the comments coming through YouTube and Facebook as well. So let's get it. We've got a great guest on here today, baby. Let me tell you, I saw Jaron like everybody else. I saw him on YouTube, and Jaron at the time, because you know he big time now, baby. But Jaron at the time at his studio on the website, he was doing, so he does vocal lessons. It's a whole studio. And so he was doing outside of clients, you know, if you wanted to get a breakdown analysis, that's the word. You want to get analysis, hit me up, pretty much. And so I hit him up, and the man gave me an analysis. And so it's amazing. I'm okay. You know, I am all black. I root for my people, and I'm just so happy, sincerely, severely happy to see Jaron just skyrocketing. Like everybody that I'm talking to, I remember I was talking to my cousin, and my cousin was like, you know, I wish that one guy would do an analysis of you. And I was like, who, this guy? Because I had the video. And she screamed, how do you know him? Jesus, baby, Jesus. Anyway, it's just amazing because now people that I just talked to, everybody just knows who Jaron is. It is just really amazing. Like the guy is everywhere. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring the young man onto the stage. Brother Jaron LeGrair.
Oh my goodness, you're so kind. Oh my goodness.
What up, Jay?
What's going on, my friend? What's going on?
Man, you know, we just living.
Yeah.
I'm trying to live my life like it's golden, but it's a little silver right now, but it's okay.
That's still all right. Hey, it's still a life worth living for, okay? Silver, gold, bronze, I don't care. It's still worth living.
Oh, by the way, I didn't want to spoil it for you when we were backstage, but guess who called me about literally 35 minutes ago?
Who?
Melanie Daniels.
Oh, I love that woman so much.
I know. And guess what she said? I was like, what's up, man? I was like, I'm actually about to go live. Can I call you back? And she was like, yeah. She said, who you going live with today? I said, Jaron. She said, tell Jaron I said hello. I love him. I love him.
Oh,
I said, baby, he go flip his wig because he loves you.
I'm already giddy. Look. Oh, I love her so much. Oh, I do. Oh, I do. Sincerely.
Jaron, I get it. So excuse me if I get a little giddy.
Even strange.
I get it, bro.
Mm-hmm. I love her so much. She's such a light, you know.
She is. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say real quick, so sis has been really going through some major health challenges recently. Oh. And unfortunately, she was also the victim of identity theft. They went in and they cleaned her out. And she's got surgeries and things going on. And so she's got, I want to say GoFundMe, but it's not a GoFundMe. It's a Christian crowdfunder site.
Okay.
So she's got that going on. Some friends put it up to raise money. But yeah, I want to let the people know.
Yes, let them know. Oh my goodness, I had no idea. Oh.
Yes, sir.
No idea.
But yeah, she says hi.
Oh, I love her. Oh, I love her so much. If you watching this, I love you, girl. Hi, right on back. I love you so much.
So, Jaron, let's jump into it. I really don't need an icebreaker, but I want to do a little fun icebreaker. All right.
Okay.
All right. So, what is the most silliest churchy thing that you do in public?
Oh God. Let me count the ways. God, let me think. Probably one of the most serious things I do. I do so many things. I'm trying to think like sometimes I'll, purposely shout in the middle of a store. Like I do that kind of stuff. Like I'm just I can't turn it off. And I don't know I'm being churchy until somebody says like, Jaron, shut up. I'm like, whatever, God is good. So so I'm like, oh my God, like any song that's on the radio that's playing on the PA, I'm asking for my I can't help it. It's just what I do. Like I'm a choir kid. So that's that kind of crap I do all the time. So
Okay.
some of the churchy stuff I do in public. Like you talk about like at church or just in public general?
In public general.
Okay, yeah. That's yeah. Or just start speaking in tongues randomly while I'm talking to people.
Okay. So mine is and it's very ignorant. If I'm out in public and I hear somebody speaking in another language, I'd be like, hey,
it's a tongue. I mean,
it's a tongue, baby. That's what it is. I go in. I encourage the people.
And I love when I see people reading their Bible in public too. I'm like, ooh, God, give them a word right now. Whatever you're trying to tell them. Tell them right now.
Tell them right now, God.
I tell them right now. They're trying to hear from you. Let them know something.
You somebody. All right, so check this out, Jay. I want to throw out some questions for you and I see the people on live already. He goes by Kendrick, but Mr. France, Preston France.
I don't know. Go Lord, am Kendrick?
I hope I'm not missing his, but he says, "Hey, friend." Let me think of his real name and not his stage name. And I'll tell you, but he says, "Hey,
hey, I'm sorry."
So, first thing that I want to ask you, vocal coach, is I've noticed something that. All right, so I had a vocal injury and I had to relearn how to sing.
Mm-hmm.
And so get some things together and went through voice therapy, etc. So what I've noticed in my journey is that as I've been paying more attention, when I eject the jaw, so of course, when we sing, you want the jaw unhinged so it can move around, etc. But I've noticed that when I eject the jaw slightly, that it makes my sound clearer. There is a non-disconnect. Like sometimes I can sing and like my voice will be jittery or kind of pop a little bit. But when I eject the jaw, it's seamless. And so I was curious if you've noticed or can speak to what's happening, because I had I'm gonna mess up the term, but when they stick the tube down your nose, the camera,
the scope, whatever, or
scope. Yeah. And
yeah.
endoscopy.
And when they look down.
So they were doing that, and the lady said, "Jut out your jaw." I said, and when she took it out, I said, "Let me ask you something. Did you have me stick my jaw out so that you can see my vocal folds more clearly?" And she said, "That's exactly why I did it." I said,
and that's what I was thinking when you said, I'm like, it's maybe changing the shape of the vocal tract to what works for you, because there's some singers, like I talk about this with Ariana Grande sometimes. She'll do a little like a jaw down and forward sometimes too, and it almost like warms her sound up a little bit, or maybe some people lift their head like Jasmine Sullivan. That kind of gives them a certain sound. And if it works for them, so if it's working for you, I say do it. Because ejecting the jaw forward could open up, I guess, this way, if you will, like, and it opens this. I don't know. So I think there is some merit to that, because I always teach about like what works for the person, everybody's voice works differently. Everybody, not differently, but everybody was unique. So whatever sound they want, however, make sure it feels good. So like if that works, I say go with it, because there's probably is some merit too, because when you move that jaw out of the way, she was able to see more, in the picture, I guess, you know, in the camera or whatever. So yeah, maybe your jaw sits a little bit back naturally. I don't know, you know, and then maybe you eject it forward. It kind of gave some more space. So that could be magic for you.
So check this out. After I discovered that for myself, and I had that epiphany with the doctor, I then started paying more attention to other singers. And I've been seeing that people, even unknowingly. Oh, by the way, I've had conversations with some really dope, phenomenal singers that you would just think that they just know all the technique, and they just know how to do it, but they don't know what's going on. But anyway, the point is, I've been noticing people do that and have been doing it for years. And let me give you an example. Check this out, man.
All right. He gave his only son, that whosoever believe on him
You see, that jaw is like out, brother.
Yes, and it gives a unique sound, or unique, I guess, a unique color to the sound. You know, yeah, like I said, she does it. A lot of singers do it. They don't even know they do it. Probably some people don't even realize it, but they do. Yeah.
So there's another question that I really get a lot. That is, well, let me not say a question that I get. There is confusion around a term that I bring up that really is out there, and that's around resonance, resonance and mask. And so I want to ask you, what is singing through the mask, or what is forward resonance? Can you explain that for us?
I'll do my best. So what I understand the mask to be is the placement of where you feel the voice. Now, the voice is here. No matter where you feel it, the voice is here. But depending on how you shape things in here, the resonance or the vibrations, the vibrations of the vocal of the voice can be felt in different places. So when you say mask, what I understand the mask is like here, you know. So you in the mask forward. Singing a mask, singing, you know, sometimes opera singers are told that, you know, so it's kind of like, I use the term twangy, I use the term bright. It's all the same thing.
Yes.
Much. You know, so it's just the term. I tell my clients all the time, I'd be like, you can call it chartreuse for my concern. If you get the result that you want, I don't care what you call it, because I want to make sure that it feels good and that's giving you the result and that it's efficient for you vocally. So you can call it booger, you know, like you can really call it whatever. Mask, twang, forward, bright, you know, whatever. It's all, to me, it all kind of coincides the same concept of a certain placement that you feel. Some people go by where they feel the sound, which is usually more so, you know, me being like a vocal technician, so to speak, I kind of think about the anatomy. So I kind of think about it that way. That doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's just I'm thinking about it from a different angle, a different perspective. But people who don't know the anatomy are singing, oh yeah, the lyrics, you know, the vocal track. They're just like, okay, I feel it in my face. Okay, the mask, boom, you know. So that's kind of what I understand the mask to be. Forward placement to me is where you feel the sound, you know. So forward, you know, in terms of directional, forward, back, you know, forward, back. So
I love that, brother. And can you tell me, share with us, so how do we achieve that sound? So like, let's say somebody who has been typical church singer, grew up in church, no formal training whatsoever, and they're just used to singing in the throat, this really glottal sound. How can they achieve that twang? Like, what exercises can they do to kind of help them feel that and discover it?
I would give like whiny exercises, like sing like a whiny kid, sing like a bratty kid, you know, nay, 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 yeah, those kind of exercises. But to me, the bigger hurdle to jump with that in mind is, I tell my clients all the time, don't think about your aesthetics so much right now. Just make noise. Just make noise. Don't you sound fine. Like, you know, you can sing. You got it. Just make noise right now. Just try something new. Don't worry about have to sound a certain, and let's try different sounds to see if this works for you. So once they let go of that, that's when they really can be like, okay, now I can just feel it. And they're like, oh my God, I do feel it more forward. So the whiny, bratty kid is a great way to think about it. So like anything, Wiggly to the West. That's another word that I use, analogy that I use to get people into that sound. Because they may not know, oh yeah, narrow your vocal tract. What? They may not know that, but they'll know Wiggly to the West. Got it. And they can impersonate that. They know a bratty kid. Oh my gosh. Like, oh my God, And so, oh, okay, that's what that sound is. So that's what I really do. I give prompts. And then, like I said, the nay, 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 yeah, 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 anything like that that kind of shapes the sound into that place in the body, if you will. Those are the exercises that I do. You can do on any scale, any easy scale, arpeggio. I kind of just, either 1 3 5 1 or 1 2 3 4 5. The pattern. As long as to me it's simple, it doesn't really matter all that much when I'm trying to get the shape. It's more so feeling it. In that stage, it's like let's just feel it before we try to, make music with it. Let's just feel it. So.
I love that. And you said Wicked Witch of the West.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give the example of what you mean by that?
Yeah. If I can do it. Like, I'm gonna get you, my pretty.
I love that.
Yeah. So it really gets them out of here and gets them more, or I even sometimes say bite the sound. Like a snarl. That can help too, because when you think bite, you think forward. It's a forward aggressive movement. So then I say, bite into the apple, bite into the sound like you a lion. Just to get them to think differently. And then we'll, clean it up and make it more so their aesthetic, if you will, But at first, I just want just get in the sound first. Just get there. Then we can shape it, So,
yeah, I love that. And you know what? And I'm so glad that you did the last thing where you did the bite. You did that. Because it is no secret that the greatest vocalist for me, my favorite vocalist, is Karen Clark-Sheard, period, hands down, all day long. And so one thing that she has been able to do effectively is really preserve her voice. That woman is in her 60s now.
Yeah.
And it seemed
So this is my mom's age, yeah.
Okay. And it seemed like it's easier and she gets higher. It seems like as she gets older, it's crazy. And I know that might be just perception, but that's what it seems like. But the point that I'm bringing is she's still growling.
She's still.
And I have heard over the years it's changed. She does, I think, what's called a healthy growl. But what I'm saying is that is what it sounded like.
That's kind of where I got it from. Honestly, I got it from Karen. Because every time I do video on Karen, First Lady Karen, I'm sorry. Every time I do video First Lady, I always talk about how aggressive she is. And how she's kind of like, I almost say it literal and figuratively, she bites into the mic. Like she just, and I've always loved that. She's my favorite singer too. One of my favorite singers too. I've always loved that about her. But I do, yes, she has found a healthy growl. And I feel like another person has like a healthy grit is that Miranda Curtis. She just is she knows just enough. She puts it on just enough to where it has that texture, but she's not overdoing it. And I think everybody has a threshold of like, this is what's good for me. This is what feels good and healthy for me. Not everybody wants to growl, but when you want to growl and have that bite, you can have a more healthier way of doing it. So you're not killing yourself every time, and overdoing it. But yeah, I do believe Karen has a nice, healthy bite and growl to her voice. I mean, it's one of the many things I love about her. So
one of the many things. And you know what? It was something that you said. My friend Delaney, he's also a vocal coach. He was saying,
he'll be there. I love him.
Oh, you know Delaney?
Oh, yeah.
He was saying, and I'm so happy for him because he's launching out, starting his business, and I'm so excited for him. But he was saying, piggybacking off what you were talking about around, you can call it this, you can call it that, whatever, but get the feeling. Like, do you have the feeling of it? And he was saying we get stuck on terminology sometimes, and but it's feeling first. And I will tell you, one of the people who is an amazing vocalist, Kim Burrell, I was doing mentor sessions with her, one-on-ones, and I had asked her a very technical question one time in our session, and she told me, like, I think I asked her about singing through the mask,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, "I do what feels good."
There it is.
Right, and that was it. Like
Yes.
mic drop. She said, "I do what
That's
feels
it. And because everybody's anatomy, though we have the same body parts, our shapes are different.
good." Yes.
So we may have pretty much the same body parts, but maybe her larynx is a different size than mine, but mine's a different size than yours. So what works for her may not all the time work for me, but works for me may not work for her. And I learned that as a teacher. One of my students at a school I used to go to, Point Park. I worked there. Shout out to my Point Park people. Long story short, I was trying to. My student had a similar range like me.
Okay.
And so they put him with me. So I'm like, oh shit, I got you in the bag. Let's do this. So I'm trying to teach him like icing. But the whole time was not working. I'm like, what is the disconnect? For weeks, what is the disconnect? And I'm like getting angry with myself, like, oh my God, my life. So then one day I said, let's sing this song again, but forget everything I told you. Just sing it and sing it the way you want. And the accompaniment started. He sang totally different, beautiful. And he just has a darker voice than me. My voice is not that dark. His is darker. He just is thicker and darker, but he has the same range. And I apologized after he sang. I said, I want to say something in front of everybody. I said, I am sorry. I try to teach you to sing like me. And you're not me. And I said, I shouldn't have did that. I said, I have learned a lesson as a teacher to not do that ever again. And since that day, I have changed my whole methodology of teaching. I modified to where I have to go with what feels good for the person. Like she said, I do what feels good. If Karen can growl 10 million times a day, if it feels good for her, girl, growl, okay? But to the next person, they're like, ooh, I growl once, and I'm like, then don't growl. Then don't growl. So yeah, she's right. Do what feels good. And Delaney is right. We get caught up with terminology. It's just like, and I used to do that. I used to think like, man, I got to say the right terms. So a lot of times in my videos, I'll say like, you may, bright, or some people may say twink, some people may say this. So I try to use different terms that I know people commonly use. I'm saying the same thing. I'm just using these different terms, but it's the same concept. So you call it dark, because I usually use color terms for vocal descriptions. Mm-hmm. Like like the darker, it's warmer, it's brighter, but also may use like a textural term like airy, or whatever the case may be. So, but some people may say aspirate, some people may say whispery, but it's same thing. It's just a different term. So yeah, all that to say, she right. She is correct. I feel it 100%. 100%.
Jaron, so many golden nuggets in what you were talking about. One, I want to commend you as a human being, as a teacher, for being responsible, because a lot of people, and we find this in, I don't know, public, celebrities, people, whatever, somebody will front you off, whether it's intentional or unintentional, embarrass you, and then apologize in private, but did it in public. Mm-hmm. And so kudos to you for having zero thing, you know what I'm saying, and doing it in front of the class, because I know that was a life lesson for everybody that they were able to take away with. And then what you're talking about with, as we're continuing the conversation around what feels good, even for me, as I'm teaching myself, Jaron, and vocal coaching my own stuff, I will find that it's really hard for me to sing sometimes when I'm being overly technical. And then one day I'll get up and I will have all the range, all the runs, and not even thinking. And I have to stop and say, now analyze that. What was the difference here?
Yes.
Okay. So get into it, brother. Another question that I get is, I get this often. People want to say, people ask, how do I expand my range? But they're really asking, how do I sing higher?
More times than not, it's that.
So what are your thoughts around how do I sing higher? How to sing higher?
It's a multifold answer, and it's so hard to answer this question a lot of these vocal questions people come to us with because people would just message me asking me these same questions, and I'm like, I need to hear you first before I give you an educated answer. I say here in my number one, I'll give an answer till you pay for a session. Let me be clear. So let's start there. So you either watch YouTube videos or book a session because I ain't doing enough else. but yeah, like let's say they have the range, they have more notes, but they approach it in a way where they're clipping themselves off. It's not a pitch thing, it's a technical thing. Okay, so what if I have the technical stuff a little more down pat, but I get scared? That's not a pitching or technical thing, it's a mental thing. So then we have to work on this to work on this, and find ways to get more comfortable. But it's so many different answers. But one answer, the general answer I give when I want to give it is just inch up a little bit every so often, like maybe once, inch up a little bit each week. I tell people like, okay, like go to your top, whatever that's comfortable. Okay, the next week, try to add a little bit more to that. I said, but also mindful of how you're approaching the notes, because it's not just a point of singing, because what if you're bringing up too much weight? Now you got to, reassess how I'm approaching these times. So there's just so many layers to this answer, So it depends on the cause, of, cause, if I can say it like that, of why you feel like your range is limited. And also the ultimate thing is everybody is different. Maybe that's the top of your range, baby. And that's it. That's it. You need to embrace what you got and say, God, thank you for what you have. Because baby, if you are naturally like a bass range, you probably not be singing soprano no time soon. I just but say, Lord, thank you for my bass range, and Lord, help me to use that more and be thankful. Because look, that's like me trying to sing tenor and baritone. Like sometimes I'll sing tenor in church because out of necessity, but I make myself sing it soft if I have to, because I know I may have the notes. I don't have the body of a tenor in terms of my voice. Alto or soprano, I'm gonna give you body, I'm gonna give you sound, I'm gonna give you all the things. But that tenor, I may be able to sing the notes, but because I don't normally sing down there, I have to force and make it, and I don't need to force that. That's kind of like on the book end of my range. So don't force it. Just if you got to do it light, do it in a way that is easy. Put that mic up to your mouth, and tell the folk, this is all you're gonna get. You better get it, or
you don't get what I give you.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not forsaking my voice, because y'all want all three parts to be sung. No. And I don't mind stepping in, but also when I step in, I'm gonna sing it the way it's comfortable for me. So just turn mic up, because I'm not gonna sing no much louder than this. I'm just not. So turn mic up, or you get what you got.
Okay, and there's so many. Oh my God. So one of the things that you said so many great things. One of the things that you said that stands out for me personally is around the word. So I remember teaching a group one time, a choir, and I was telling them, I said, pay attention to how the people that you really adore that sing, your great singers, pay attention to how they're pronouncing the words. I said, because you're trying to say it one way, like you're trying to pronounce it textbook way. They're not saying it that way. Like when you did that, I love that you did the Beyonce analysis, the halftime show.
Oh,
And you talked about at the end, she's not saying, I forgot the word that she's saying, but she was doing it over again. God, I
can't remember now. I know you're talking about the high note. That one.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yes. I forget the word, but yes.
I can't remember the word either. Can't hold on. Down.
Down. Is it down?
It was down? We're going to go with down from right now.
Yeah, it's like that, whatever. Yeah.
But I was, you were saying what the word is. I mean, she said it multiple times, but to achieve that note, she's not pronouncing it down. Baby, no. I remember one time my aunt, bless her heart, she didn't know any better. And not my Aunt Rosie for the people who are listening. My Aunt Ann, I'm gonna have to put you on blast, Auntie. We were in choir rehearsal, and she was saying we were singing Silver and Gold, and my cousin and I were the only sopranos, but we carried this section. Mm-hmm. But she wanted us, when we got all the way to the top saying gold, we weren't saying gold. And she was like, round your tone. I was like, you can't round that up there, honey.
I don't know.
I was like 14, so I wasn't gonna tell her you can't round that, honey.
Right.
So we wound up not singing it because her thought process was you have to say the word a particular way. And that's not how singing goes.
Singing goes, and that's just acoustics. The science of sound has nothing to do with, oh yeah, you're a bad singer. No. This is acoustics. That's all it is. How sound works in our bodies and how sound works in our ears. So yes, modifying the vowel, changing the word, and that's the key to a lot of stuff. If y'all just think I'm going to change the word, either make it brighter, make it wider, a lot of times I'll just say whiten the vowel, and it fixes a lot of stuff for people. Just spread it out a little bit. Don't think, I just read it out. Sing it a smile. Boom. Already it's totally different because they're lighting up their voice and change. When they smile, they change stuff in here without knowing it too. They change stuff in here, and then by result of the smile, they get brighter, and then all of a sudden their higher notes are easier. So sometimes singing higher could just be smile more when you go higher. That's what I do. I just get more, as I go higher, and it just works. Yeah. Absolutely. In the higher pitches, it's hard to sing front closed vowels in higher pitches. Again, it's acoustics. So I was talking about, I just did a video. I'm gonna post this, so I'll tell y'all. I did Dreamgirls finale. And Jennifer will be that little part right there. When she does it, I was like, she can sing the E with that power because she places it in the mask, places it forward, but she changes to where it's not, she changes the vowel slightly, but she changes the placement. So then it gets brighter as she goes, it was big. She kind of goes to more of that kind of shape. And so it works. I said, but she modifies the vowel to make it more pingier and brighter to keep the weight or keep the power without the weight. So yeah, all that stuff was hand in hand.
Okay, because I'll raise my eyebrows, I'll widen my nostrils.
Yep. Yeah, because the sound, your nasality can help high notes. People, I don't want to sing nasal. I'm like, yes, you do. You just don't know it, but you do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. People have a construed or confused view of nasality.
They do.
Yeah,
because I grew up.
You want it? You want it?
I grew up in a situation where they were like, "Stop singing nasal."
Mm-hmm. Yep, and they always do that. I think me from the Midwest. I think some of us have nasality in our voices, just regionally, in our dialect a little bit. Because I remember this time, I just so stupid. So a couple years ago, I posted on Facebook because I always thought until I became an adult, I don't have an accent. So I'm like, people always talk about I'm from the Midwest, on YouTube. Do I have an accent? I mean, the comments were like, yes, you have a Midwest accent. I'm like, do I? They were like, yes. I was like, what do I be saying? Let's make it so Midwest. They were like, you sound like from Ohio or Michigan or Indiana. I'm like, really? And I said, well, I'm from Ohio, so you're right. But it was how I was saying, like, get, like the word, like the term, get your coat, get your coat is what people normally say. I say, get your coat, get your that when I say the people are like, oh, you Midwest. And that those little tiny things that I did when I would say whatever I was saying in the video, people are like, oh, you from Midwest. And I didn't know this because I don't know it. I just say what I do, But yeah, so even those little tiny accent things can influence how you deliver the voice. So just using AAVE can help influence your voice, all those things. But yeah, I grew up in the Midwest and I sound like it. I didn't know until I became an adult, but there's definitely Midwest sound to me.
Brother, but you unlocked something for me because I'd never understood. So being told that as a kid not to sing nasally really blocked me moving forward in my vocal journey. And so I had a lot of issues because I really wasn't using the things that I needed to be able to sing. And I was a soprano. And then when my voice changed, it was really rough. And so being told not to sing nasally when I wasn't being nasal anyway, I think it was a kind of self-hatred thing going on because I'm a Midwest boy too. I think when we were growing up, there was this thing around sounding black and sounding country and sounding. So I think that was some of that was being passed on to me, that kind of whatever. So you unlocked something. I was like, oh, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, but I talk about using. Yeah, go ahead.
No, please.
Oh, I was gonna say I talk about using AAV all the time, African American vernacular English. Like I say, use that to your advantage as a vocalist, especially my Black people. I was like, use it because it's ours and it really helps shape stuff in a great way, because it relaxes the phonemes, it relaxes the consonants, which can help you sing more efficiently depending on the setting that you want, and the sound that you want, especially gospel, R&B, some musical theater depending on the song, and it can help.
And Jaron, there's something else. I'm gonna just lightly touch on this, but there's something else that you said that I think is really key, particularly for the African American section of singers, and that is just around, like how, let's go into classical music. The women were the darlings of that industry in that era and that genre because of the type of songs they wrote for sopranos, and in gospel. Women are the dominant in that industry, and that moves over to people who sing high. And I think that we wind up dividing ourselves because people are so fickle, child. People will be like, oh yeah, sing high. Oh, or go crazy for runs. Oh my God, did you? Oh, shit, oh. And then in the same breath, turn around, like, you ain't got to do all them runs. Why are you doing all them runs? That's just too much. And the thing is, singing is art. It's subjective. And so you get to do what you want to do because you're painting your own sound, which I'm going to get to something in a little later. But you're creating your art. So it really comes down to be secure in who you are. You don't have to change your offering, your gift, to match a fad or a whatever is going on, because people don't enjoy you for you. So if you sing low, enjoy singing low. If you sing high, enjoy singing high. Because it used to be hard for me growing up as a grown man now who balls done drop. And I'm still singing high. And like in the Midwest, it's kind of like, oh, you're singing high, you're a grown man. So enjoy, embrace your space, and if you do runs, do runs. If you sing straight, sing straight. You ain't got to do no runs. And because you do runs, you ain't got to sing straight. Like, just create your art.
Yes, literally. That's a huge pillar of my teaching method, is just enjoying your voice. I mean, that's the perspective that I use my videos from. It's just, I don't give my opinion. I just kind of say what's happening, what I think is happening, and people form their own opinions. But my job as a voice teacher, for me, I'll say in my studio, my job, and I tell my clients this when they on board, I said, my job is not to tell you what to do. My job is to guide you and make sure you sound good and you doing it's the results you want and it feels good for you. That's where the buck's stop. Can I give you my opinion in terms of art? Sure. I said, you should try this. But at the end of the day, it's your art. This ain't my art. Because if it was my art, everybody would sound like me. All my clients sound just like me. Right. Who wants that? So like, we want the diversity. We want all the colorfulness. So if you have a more, like you said, a more straight voice, that does a lot of runs, we don't got to do them. Now, if you want to explore them, that's a different conversation. But we don't have to do them. You don't have to. This is what do you want to do with your voice? So that goes into that conversation of, unfortunately, like you said, when you don't have a high voice, some people don't think you can sing that well, or you only do certain types of stuff. I've had plenty of lower voice women come through my studio, or people I know, and they struggle. Like, man, I know that none of the songs fit my range, or I could get a guy, because the baritone range is more the standard of men's voices. Right. So we are oddballs. You and I, we are anomalies, if you will. Right. So, but the standard male range is more like a baritone. But a lot of gospel songs aren't written for the male voice in terms of tenors, or like the bottom voice. And so if you don't got a high voice as a guy, or higher, at a certain point, so I mean, luckily we have artists like Donald Lawrence, Richard Smallwood, who write 4-part, 5-part harmonies. So then you have the lower voices are in the picture. Thank God for them, who I love. God love y'all so much. But yeah, it's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing. And I've experienced that whole, you sing high as guy, Nowadays it doesn't hit me as hard. I think it's way more acceptable now, yes. Because people sometimes know who I am, so they're like, oh, that's Jaron, that we know that, so it's no big deal. But growing up, oh god, especially my 20s, it was horrible. It was horrible.
See, and I appreciate you for sharing that, because that's a real conversation.
RDL, okay, real.
Okay.
Real.
So let me throw this out at you. As we're talking about runs.
Not you.
Okay. Okay.
You got it. I was not expecting to see me on this screen.
Because you would tell me in the second baby that you don't do runs, and you did that.
I
don't do no runs.
This is this was good. You got me.
And you did the hardest run. So I wanted to highlight this because I remember growing up, they just was everything. And then this came out in the 80s. Like all of this musicality was in the 80s. And so I was like, oh my God. And so because I always held it in such high esteem, I never could get the run. Because I always said to myself, it's just amazing. And hearing you do it, I was like, yeah, that's it. So with that being said, because it sounds so good, Jaron, can you tell us how you broke down the run to get it and execute it? And for all the people, because I played it real fast because I shocked Jaron with it. Play it one more time. And then Jaron, tell us how you did that.
Okay. This is crazy. You really got me. Okay, it's just crazy. I would have never thought to see myself on the screen. So anyway, so I'm gonna tell you, it was one of their videos. It was Karen and Twinkie singing together. It was just them two in the video. I think Karen was pregnant with one of her children. And that video was the one that made the run clearer to me because in the original recording, there was some parts I was missing. But once I heard that video, those who know the Clarksons know the videos on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. Twinkie's on the organ, Karen standing on the mic next to her. And
it's older video.
They did the run over and over. They did. And I was like, okay, so that's the pattern. So then I said, okay, it's an intentional pattern and not just, winging it. So that's the video that I broke it down from. And I remember doing the run over and over with them, but I had to get out of the mode of it's just a run, but it's like it's a melisma. Yes. So then it was almost like Handel's Messiah. Though those are runs, they're intentional notes. The shall be exalted. All that. It's intention. Those are intentional notes on a page. They're not just random notes people just make up. They may modify a little bit, but it's intentional notes. So once I thought about it as a melisma, I'm like, okay, whatever the run is, I can't remember now. But yeah, that is the way I broke it down once I heard that video. And I was like, okay, so it's an actual pattern. And then I just slowed it down and then just kind of sped it back up. Once I slowed it down and got all the notes, I sped it back up. And I've been doing that song. We've been doing that song probably since I've been in college. So I've been doing that song for about 15 years. Oh, yeah. And this is like our first Clarkson song we learned. Like I've also wanted to sing Clarkson songs with my brothers, but they're like, nah. We were like Take Six fanatics growing up. Well,
okay.
My brother was. We just had to sing it. So we did a lot of Take Six type stuff growing up, like Boyz II Men, Take Six. That was, But then I'm like, yo, let's do some Clark Sisters. And it was like, fine. So I was like, let's do this one. It's more Take Six-y, but it still got the, and we started singing it. Like I said, I think it was in college when we started singing this song. And so I think over time, I just kind of nailed it, and then I just remember like muscle memory. Okay, this is it. So every time I sing the song, when I do it in the setting of us, I do it every time. But like sitting here, I'm like, oh, now what is it again? How does that go again? I don't know. You
still did it.
Oh, did I? Thank you. God is good, but you're right. I will not say I would say I don't do runs. I don't do runs. I'll be the first. No, I don't do runs. Because a lot of times I do these videos. People are like, oh my God, you be doing runs. I'm like, I'm replicating what I'm hearing. I'm not making this up. I'm singing it so I can digest it, so I can tell you what I'm doing in my voice, what I feel like is happening. So a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you trying to just let us hear. I said, no, I'm really thinking. So I have to sing it a few times for myself, and then I can tell you what I'm thinking as a teacher when I do it. So that's kind of where that comes from. But yeah, Oh, for the love of the people.
Yes.
Give his life.
And I want to throw this is a great moment because I said what I said around embrace who you are, like love your gift. And I'm so glad that you added the caveat. And I want to take this moment to jump in again to say, I'm not saying don't put more tools in your tool belt.
That's right.
I ain't saying that at all. Because I heard somebody say something about somebody said stay in your lane. And he was like, who said that? Like, that's dumb. Get in all the lanes. Like, and I'm in agreement with that. Like, get all the tools. Like, if you want to learn it, do it.
Learn it.
And I love how you broke down the way you did the run and how you learned the run. Because when people ask me how to do runs, that's exactly how I describe to them. I say, don't look at it like I looked at the Clark sister run, like it's just amazing. I can never do it. Break it down. It is literally just notes. So start here, figure out the pattern, and you don't have to do it all at one time. Get the pattern, start, just do a few of them, do the next set, connect them, and go slow. Because once you get the muscle memory, you can speed it up and you can gradually speed it up.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you did that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yes. It's like that Insecure run, the Jasmine Sullivan, whenever I was doing it, it's the same thing. I just had to slow, when I did the video on it, I had to slow it down. That's okay. And I can't remember it now because something like that. But yeah, I had to slow it down and say, okay, now I got it. Now I sped it up. And then, then I captured on video. But yeah, you just slow down a little bit and just think about each run as a purposeful notes. Like you said, just think of it as a melisma more so than I'm just going to wing it, hope for the best. They may have winged it, but I want to do what they did. So I'm not going to wing it. I'm going to do what they did, So,
So check this out, Jerry. And I love that you do, when you do your analysis, that you give us the technical, like, okay, one, I love, of course, that you're breaking down what's happening. Like you're letting us know what's going on in the anatomy, like what's happening in the body. Because I remember growing up and trying to figure out, how do I sing? How do I do? And nobody was really talking about this. Like I ain't learned about all of this and what's going on in here until much later in life. And so I love that you do that for the generation that is here and for us that are, we still alive.
I love it.
And I also love that you use technical terms. I will tell you why. Because I think that it is just very helpful to know what is inside your body. So I love that you give name to it, but then at the same time, you give a very practical means of explaining with context what it is and where it's at. And you'll even explain what it is. So I love you. I love your analysis.
I appreciate you. I'm so glad people like what I do. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Man. So with that being said, soft palate manipulation. Can you tell us what is happening, particularly when we're singing high? The difference between when using the soft palate, manipulating it, the difference between an opera singer and a gospel singer. What's happening that makes the different sound?
Okay. I'll be honest, opera is not my strong suit. I know a little bit about it. And I actually was thinking about doing more opera on my channel, basically Leontine Price. I kind of do some videos on her, because I love her so much. And I'm just so scared to talk about opera, because I'm just like, that is not my focus. But, anyway, but with the soft palate, that's where the nasality comes from. Soft palate down, nasal sounds, the air travels through the nose, so nasal sounds happen. I'll say it like that. So the soft palate is down. We call it the velum, whatever you want to call it. When it's down, air is going through the nose. When it's up, air is not going through the nose because the palate is, or the nasal passage is blocked. So typically, from what I understand, and this is, with a grain of salt.
Okay.
The palate is up more so for opera. They don't want the nasal sound. But gospel, you may hear some, like Leandria Johnson. She may do some nasal sounds. I love how she shapes words, but she chews vowels and changes her vocal tract in the middle of like phrases. I can't. But
does.
she does. She manipulates. She moves it. She moves through it so smoothly, almost like a set of wheels in a factory. She just she does that kind of thing. So you'll probably hear more nasal sounds in gospel than classical. Now you may hear some in classical, depending on the person, depending on what they want to do. But typically, I would say, textbook definition, you would hear the soft palate go up. Or you not hearing any nasal sounds on opera, and we maybe hear some more nasal sounds when the soft palate is kind of going down and up a little bit on gospel and other things. Because the soft palate can kind of act like a muffle or like a dampener, it could dampen the sound depending on the texture you want. It can make a really cool, addition to the warmth of your sound depending on the context. Or, maybe using a little bit of narrow vocal tract and nasality can help you sing higher easier. It just depends on the context. There's a lot of contextual pieces that can go into the soft palate manipulation, but it's definitely possible. You can use a little bit of it, use a lot of bit of it, use it all, go all the way down, go a little bit down, maybe certain words I use it. Think about the French language. Nasality, that soft palate manipulation. They use a lot of that in their language. So it just depends on the context. But yeah, that's it. I would say, to give a black and white definition of either one, that's what I would say.
I really appreciate you sharing that, because I know even with so I've done formal singing. I did the whole high school situation when you went through concert choir, etc. And so I didn't know at the time what I was doing when I was switching between the classical formal singing and then the gospel singing. And then even now, as I get here at this point, and I'm singing and being very much aware of singing through the mask and the resonance, and making that air, not pushing the air up so that I can get to those higher notes and reach in my head voice, etc. Sometimes it's confusing for me to explain to myself what is happening. How am I manipulating the sound when I am doing my formal singing and singing high, and when I am doing my gospel singing and singing high? Because it absolutely feels different. It feels, I don't know if it's more chamber. It feels like I'm creating more space when I'm doing formal.
Probably it's more like this kind of space. Yeah. So you probably are, it sounds like you're making the space longer, I guess more vertical, taller. Some it's almost like you are maybe placing the sound in the mask in the classical, more formal stuff, but gospel, a lot of times so we use a different way of approaching higher notes in the gospel, so that's what I would say. But yeah, I think you're on the money. Every genre, and to me, that's why I try to talk about with my clients. Genres are just that, genres. So they're equal in value. There's nothing that's superior than the other. So you can, if you think about it like that, and just say, I'm going to change my shape to fit the genre that I want to do, then the changing of the genre can be even more efficient versus, I have to classical hardcore and no, just change the shape a little bit, and then the genre shifting can be a little easier, for you, hopefully. That's
right. So look at this. I did a quick series and I didn't finish, child, because my anxiety woke me up. But I had started a series on So You Want to Sing Gospel. The whole purpose or point in that kind of limited series was to drive home the point of your gospel greats that are really singing amazing and have been doing it for years. They really ain't singing as hard as you think they are. And I was breaking down what they're doing and showing that all the other stuff is really dramatics. But that is not indicative of they're really pushing. They're not. They got these vocal mechanics going on. All right. So with that being said, for me, when I had to relearn how to sing, etc., and I really learned the power of resonance in placing the voice, and also not pushing, trying to carry all this weight up when I'm singing high, I noticed that, oh my God, like I'm producing all of this sound and I'm barely even moving my face. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not like,
Mm-hmm.
So, and I also had discovered that a lot of these artists are doing that, like my favorites in R&B, gospel, etc. And it brings me to Beyonce, because especially now,
Mm-hmm.
I just love how this woman places the voice here,
Mm-hmm.
shapes the stuff differently to give us all these different colors and textures, etc. But still, because of where she's placing the voice, and baby, I need her vocal coach, because the woman has, or I need her because she has perfected. I can do cartwheels and sing this song,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna give you a solid vocal. And so I wanted to do that. I wanted to share real quick.
On a stretch, to leave my home at an early age. I saw mama praying, I saw daddy grind. All my tender problems had to leave behind. Spent umpteen summers and I'm not in my bed, on the back of the bus in a bunk with the band. Going so hard, gotta choose myself. Underpaid.
It's like,
Yeah, she's chilling. She's chilling. And, you know, a lot of times these artists have in-ears. They have these other mechanics that help them sing efficiently, which is why they can sing so clear. And, you know, on top of the fact that she's approaching it so, it takes control. Sometimes I have to, when I sing in church, I purposely will stand behind the podium or purposely make myself stand in one spot to sing more efficiently. Because I get all excited, start running around. Now I don't got no energy. I be tired, you know? So if I just stand in one spot, and chill out, I can sing way more efficiently. And then when I want to get to the hype part, when I want to run around and do stuff, I have the energy. But at that point, I'm just kind of, you know, we driving a song home.
exactly.
But just like you woosah, let it out and stay still, you know, and just really sing in a chill way. Yeah.
And I can hear her there.
I'm made it overwhelmed. Yeah, it's kind of like a speech, like forward. Yeah. Sound.
Yes.
That's all the time. It's like you can talk, you can sing. And so, you know, so don't think about it so much. Just think, I want to use the same ease that I use when I talk to sing, and just try to apply that, you know. So yeah.
So same placement, a little bit more here in this video. What, here it is.
And she has added the growls in there too. But it's not hard growls. It's just a little bit. It's just enough to make it work, you know, to give that color that she wants.
Yeah, and I love how when she did Dash, it reminds me of what you said earlier in the conversation. She just brightened it up. She smiled.
She looks smile.
Dash.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so when you brought up standing behind the podium, keeping yourself calm, I can speak for myself. A lot of times when I get in the space, I will get, and at this point, Jaron, I have a lot of physical ailments going on. So I got a lot of health stuff happening, and I've developed anxiety really bad. So it winds up capsizing the breath. I wind up doing this kind of strangled singing. My larynx is high, and I'm pushing, and I don't even sometimes realize that I'm doing all that pushing until I come up like, what's going on with my voice? What are your, so I kind of gave some of it, like I said, my larynx is high, Couldn't you talk to us about that? Like, what is happening when we're in that high emotional space, we're driving home the point, like you said, but we forget the mechanics and we just kind of going for broke, and now we like push in, and now we can't sing. We ain't got no range. Can you talk to that?
It's so hard because, you know, as I call it, I'm using the term charismatic gospel singers. You know, depending on the person, you know, they get all theatrical and get all whatever. And I do believe I'm one of them people. Give me a good vamp and a good church. I'm going to y'all tell me to stop. I'm gonna just run around, you know, in the mic until y'all say, Jaron, cut the song off, you know. But to me, God can still give clarity in those moments still. And so to me, it's a discipline. For me, it's a discipline. Like, Jaron, I had a mentor one of my worship leaders at Auntie Leslie Parker Barnes, Auntie Leslie. I used to sing songs that start getting excited before the song is over, or like even in the choir, we start shouting before the song is over. She was like, "We want y'all to shout. That's it. We got to know what y'all shouting about first." And I said, "Ooh." And I was like 15, 14 when I learned this. And I said, okay. To this day, I reminded, I was like, Jan, you got to hold it together. And so we all can rejoice with you, you know? So even keeping that in mind, I can then center and, make myself calm down. And so for me, staying in one spot helps instead of me walking around already and getting all excited. Because a lot of times I'll sing at my church, today will be the best day.
Yes.
That is a song. I have songs since like 15, 16, 17, 18. Whenever the song came out with TD Jakes, I haven't sung that song since that day. Because I don't know what about that song, but they just have stuck that song on me. And no matter where I am, what church I'm at, if they know I sing, if they know I'm there, we say, Jaron, come on up. I'd be like, but that song, the best. Once you get to that part, you driving, and I'm a driver. I'm a driver, so people know that, so they give me them type of songs. So what I have to do is, Jaron, at least you get to the vamp. Calm down, stay centered. So it's a point of being disciplined and saying, God, give me the clarity, even while I'm trying to sing your praises and sing even now. So then I can be more efficient in singing your praises. So then when the part comes and I want to get excited about, towards the end, if I'm at that point, like we're going to town, but even remembering how I want to sing, like my prayer sometimes is like, Lord, give me the clarity, even in how I sing, so I can sing efficiently, even in the church, or, even in your house, even at church, because it's not just about the theatrics and trying to make people shout. If I'm going to sing, I got to do it with excellence. That's I do it with excellence. I got to do it with precision and do it. It's about presenting your best. And so I can't keep let my voice be gone every time I try to get up and sing. Because it's not my best, and it's one thing if, something happens during the song or whatever, but it's another thing if I'm like yelling the whole time. That's not efficiency. That's not smart. That's not discipline. And I have to constantly learn that and be reminded of myself of that. So I'm not saying like I got it together when I get on stage. I have to constantly remind myself of that, stay still, chill out, but then once the part comes where you want to go to town, child, do your thing, and go to town at that point, get done and start shouting, do your thing, whatever. So that's kind of what I think about it.
I really appreciate you sharing that, because I still have that problem. And again, because of my anxiety and the physical, I've got sciatica. Mm-hmm. So the stuff kind of gets me rattled. Like even the thought of singing, I could sing in a space, nobody is around, whatever the case is, and I'm good. I have all the stuff and I'm able to go wherever I want to go. Mm-hmm. But then as soon as I get on the stage, it's like, it's imprinted in my mind. I had some very traumatic experiences in the church where people have said certain things about my vocal production that made me feel like I had to scream all the time. And so it made me unconsciously self-conscious that when I get on the stage that I have to be on. And so it makes this thing tense. I could have rehearsed the song and did it perfectly. And then as soon as I get on the stage, now it's got this extra edge to it. So by the time I get to the middle of the song, I have larynx high. I'm just tense. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate you sharing that about.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you what I endeavor to do is one thing that Karen does well to me is that Karen has mastered her technique to a point that when she gets to a drive and when she gets to where she wants to fall and roll around on stage like Patti LaBelle, she still got technique. I endeavor to have that.
Yeah, but hello. I mean, there was at one point, and this is another funny story. Speaking of technique, I think I was in college, maybe grad school, maybe after. Anyway, and I was living by myself. I drove myself to church that day, and I remember it was like 8 a.m. We had 8 a.m. service at one of my older churches. It was during communion. I had on white and khaki. I'll never forget this day. So I walk in late, 4 hours of sleep, walk in 8:30 service. I walk in by 8:45, 9 o'clock, ready to sing. I just creep in the back door and kind of just creep it to the back of the choir stand by myself in the back row on the end. Like, it's a pretty big church. So I just kind of creep up in there and just stand by the drums. Like, okay. And so he started singing For Every Mountain for communion. And so, you know, they started playing the intro. And so my choir director, she points at me. And so there's a wall behind me like this, a wall. So she pointed at me and I said,
we good for that.
You ain't pointing at me today. And she's again. And so I said, you know, real, I was like, and I said, okay. So I walked down all them stairs to the front. I said, oh, Jesus. So people knew in the choir, because we were all still sitting down. And so they saw me get up, walk, they were like, oh, he about to sing. And I said, oh, crap. So anyway, I get to the front and I'm grabbing mic. So she was like, just sing, baby, just sing. And I'm like, I got to sing this For Every Mountain in original key at 8 a.m. Now, mind you, 4 hours of sleep. Didn't, you know, so my voice is already, so like you said, everything is high. I'm just anxious. And so I said, Jaron, you need to breathe. So they put intro 3 times. The lady accompanying me was looking at me and I said, not yet.
Dum 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 dum.
I just kept shaking my head, no. And they just played, but they were walking slow for communion, so it kind of fit the vibe. So about the 4th time she played it, I said, okay. And then I sang, and I was actually really good. I sang this, all that stuff. Like, I was full, like, I was there. But it was once I calmed myself down.
Okay.
I said, Jaron, breathe. You've got to calm down. You've got to calm down. And so once I did that, I was able to do all the modulations, all the things. But yeah, because my choir director was good for calling people out in the middle of the song. I'm like, girl, I didn't rehearse this. I'll be up there singing this song. But yeah, but like you said, but those words that people spew at you, I wish we could go down the rabbit hole of that conversation, because those things can definitely influence, whether good or bad, how you sing. I mean, a good portion of my 20s, I told people I don't sing solo. I turned down gigs because of what people said about my voice in my 20s. I don't know. I'm not doing that. And so I just wouldn't sing. I wouldn't go. I would say, no, thank you. You know, call them. They can do it. You know, just have them do it. I would avoid it because of what people said about me, you know? So that's real. That's real.
But Jaron, I really appreciate that, brother, because I remember I went to this Robert Townsend audition. My anxiety was through the roof. There was a Sunday Best winner in there in the audition. I'm like, why are you here? And and I mean, just all the things, all the people. I mean, some other people was there. I ain't gonna call no names no more. But so the anxiety was high, was the point. And I stood there and I did what you said, which is breathe. I did some deep breathing. I'm taking that note. Incorporate the deep breathing, even in the moment. Because I took this deep breath, Jaron, and then I started and I surprised myself at how clear and smooth my vocal production was, so much so that it made me nervous.
Like, hold on, is this real?
Okay. By the way, man, congrats on the TED Talk.
Thank you. Thank you.
So check this out, guys. So I didn't see. I think that the TED Talk people are posting the video soon. But in the meantime, so Jaron was talking about in your presentation, part of your presentation, your voice is your story. So to explore how one's voice is not just a tool for communication, but a powerful instrument that carries your stories, emotions, and identities. And I'm gonna tell you something that stood out to me, bro. I remember telling a friend of mine, let me back it up. So the church I go to, our pastor would be like, can I back it up? Anyway, I remember moving to New York and I had just become cool with Ayanna George. Are you familiar with Ayanna? Oh, it was amazing.
God, yes. I love her.
I became cool with her. And I remember us having a conversation real quick. And she was like, yeah, man, you know, singing is just so vulnerable. And baby, I'm gonna tell you something. In that moment, I did not know what she meant by that. Like, with it being vulnerable. I could relate to nerve-wracking, making me nervous, scared. Like I can relate to those emotions, but vulnerability, I didn't understand. And then later on in life, I remember talking to a friend of mine. We were in San Francisco. It was just calm and serene. And she's asking me, what are your aspirations, your goals, blah, blah, blah. I said, I really just want to be free to sing because when I sing, when I am completely free, I'm not thinking about what nobody thinks of me, no expectations, no nothing, expectations I have of myself. I said, I sound really amazing. I said, and every run, every color, every inflection, I said is real. I'm really painting the picture of who I am. I said, if you were to pay attention, if notes could be visualized, I said you would see exactly who I am at my core, in my soul, in that moment. It would be a snapshot, complete vulnerability. And that's when it made sense to me. I was like, yes, because I'm telling y'all who I am right here in this. So I'm curious. I was curious. What did you mean by identity?
Our voice, I use this term a lot. I've said this before on like posts and things like that. Your voice is your fingerprint. Your voice is your voice. There's no voice on this world, on this earth like yours. Do we have people have similar voices? Sure. I can impersonate. I can do stuff like that. But in terms of my own vocal makeup, there's nobody in this world who has the same voice as you, just like your fingerprint. So that's how they use fingerprints, because nobody has a fingerprint like yours on this earth. So with that, your identity, who you are, what makes you you is in your voice, how you sound, the shape of your body, even from a physical standpoint, just from the shape of your larynx, the shape of your height, your weight, all these things are part of your identity. That's what makes up your voice. That's what makes up you, if that makes sense. Yeah. Even your identity in terms of, what you like to listen to, what you like to eat, what you like to wear, where you like to go, who you grew up around, what you grew up around, how did you grow up, any traumas, any all those things influence your voice.
Yes.
So it all goes hand in hand. So that's what I mean by identity. It's like, this is who I am is in here. Who I've become, who I will be, is a part of it is here, which is why she said she is so right. Singing is so vulnerable, because when you sing, let me say like this. When I play the piano, the action is outside of my body. When I play the drums, action is outside of my body, saxophone, trumpet, whatever. But when I sing, the sound is from inside my body.
Yes.
So the vulnerability is that I'm showing a piece of myself that I can't change. So if you don't like it, I'm taking it personal. I can always get better at piano. And I say this loosely. I can always get better at piano. I can always get better at playing it. I can always get better, playing the drums. I can always get more efficient. That's outside of my body. I can get more efficient with my voice, but the sound of it, to an extent, it is what it's going to be. Yes, I can add more runs. I could add more of this. I can add more of that, or take away or do. But at the core, because of the genetic makeup and just shape of my stuff, my voice is gonna be my voice, no matter which way I shape it. I can sing. Folk is so funny. I be singing the classical stuff online sometimes, and people in the comments, at least one will come up. I can tell you sing gospel. I'd be like, but I'm not singing gospel right now. They're like, I can tell you sing it, But it's just the way my voice is, how I finesse song. You can just tell I grew up singing in church. No matter what genre I do, I'm a church it. It's just something about it gonna be church, But that's part of my identity. A lot of music upbringing is from singing in choir at church, singing it after rehearsal with my parents. That's a part of my identity. So that's what I mean by the identity of oneself in the voice. It's yours. It's your fingerprint. It's your stamp. So can anybody sing like you?
I love that. I so love that. And Jaron, child, pray for me. I'm working on this project that I have in my mind. I'm not going to say too much, but it's basically I'm bringing church back to R&B. So that's all I'm saying. But I know we're wrapping up, and I really appreciate the time for this talk, bro.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Yes, of course.
So before we get out of here, I want to do what you do best and do some analysis. And so I want to
I'm getting nervous now. Like,
I should have did all this preface.
Right.
So the name of this segment is called Break It Down.
Break it down.
So let's start. I'm not going to tell you who they are. I'm just play the videos.
Okay.
Oh, say, does that star spangled banner yet wave? The land of the free, home of the
She get on my nerves and then just act. She just finished
Right,
like
like,
yeah, or
that's
something.
what like girl. Goodness gracious. So want me to start?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, the great thing is that I've talked about her 1.5 million times. The things that always stand out to me is how her head always goes up so significantly when she sings. You know, and you hear more times than not, oh, that's not good for your voice. Oh, da, 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 you know. But if it works for her, then what's the problem, you know? So but even as a young child, that 11-year-old, well, she's 11 years old in the video, what she's doing the home, you know, from the Wiz,
Yes.
she does the same head tilt. So she's doing this her whole life. Like, this is just something that she has done. You know, she she keeps the vowels, and I'm gonna say this loosely because it's very broad paint stroke, but more longer than not. But there, I feel like she's a little bit more here this way. But even bands are spangled, that gold was long. You know, spangled. See, that's how I would say it, spangled. So mine is even wider, even on the longer vowel, but she's spangled. She kept hers longer. So she keeps her vowels more warm than not. Again, broad paint stroke, of course, is exception to the rule, but
sure.
Generally, that's what I'm hearing, you know. And she has that color. It's almost like I call it the color like a pool in her voice. And I think a part of it is how she shapes it when she puts her head up. I think she kind of pulls her vocal folds, kind of pull this way, if you will, if I can say it like that. And then so you have that kind of pull sound, almost like a Dorinda, that pull in the sound.
Yeah.
So it's just like that pull rash that she has. I'm sure Jasmine has listened to Dorinda at some point in her life, and, you know, has taken notes from her because their approaches are very similar in sound, you know. Yeah, so that's what I would say about Jasmine, you know, and of course the run. I mean, Jasmine, you know, it's like
okay,
she's never gonna miss a run. Like, that's just one thing she's not gonna do. She gonna, even in her worst day, whatever you want to call that, you know, her like, well, she's still gonna kill it. You know, like, she just has such a robust instrument. And I feel like even now, or I guess recently, in recent years, she's, I won't say matured, evolved. She's evolved. So she sings to me, her artistic delivery, her approach has changed. She's not all about the runs. Like, you know, she just brings more. She just gets more passionate to, you know, in her voice, which brings more passion to the performances that she does in recent times. And she be singing higher too.
Does
she down low? She be up there a little bit. I said, okay, Jasmine. Now we thought you maybe a soprano alto. Keep playing with me. Keep playing with me. Keep playing with me.
And I was so surprised at the breath control for that last note. I said, "Oh my god!"
But she doesn't. She's not pushing though, and that's the key. Like, she probably even taking a lot of air. She just sang and is in keeping a great balance of air pressure with vocal fold closure. That's the key with singing long notes and high notes and doing it. People always they got to push for it. No, stop pushing. Just sing. Just sing.
Thank you for saying that, Jaron, because that is, all notes are not created equal. Like, you don't need all that air. That's the thing that I'm really embodying now. All right, here's the next one.
Round, show me to the subway I go. Nothing can be sweeter than the sound of baby, when I start, I just can't stop. I love you from Nothing is forbidden when we turn.
Yeah,
I love Joe.
Joe, he is so good. He is so good. I mean, to me, he has such a clean voice. He's just so clean in everything that he does. He just has such clarity with his voice. And I feel like even how he approaches songs, there's always such a warmth to it. But even there, he got a little more aggressive, you know, and then it had a little grit, a little pressure moments. He had add a little color, vocal color to it a little bit. So yeah, but I feel like he always does stuff so clean, and he has such a nice. I don't like to use the word pure because then it gives a connotation to people's voices aren't pure.
I love that.
So I just say clarity. There's clarity to his sound. There's relatability to his sound, you know. So I think just his clarity and his tone just makes his voice and his singing so tangible and enjoyable to listen to. You know, he just knows how to use his instrument so well, you know.
He does. And I love how he's doing the grit, but then because that part is actually really high.
Yeah, that is up there.
And then when he gets up there, though, he uses this forward resonance thing here to keep him from like blasting out the vocal folds down here. All right.
Yeah. Real.
All right, here's the next one.
Okay. Sing fool. Oh man, I have never analyzed somebody in front of them like this. You know, like you like a video, like it's never like, oh yeah, so what I'm hearing, you know, like in this context. And the thing is, I do these sessions all the time where I analyze. I'll call them audits, but anyway. So okay, anyway, but I think you have such a great approach because you keep it light as you go high, but you still keep the power. So you're not losing any power. You still have your power and your robustness, but you just know how to lighten up the load. Like you said, the weight is lessened. So then the high notes is like, well, let me finish my thought. The high notes are easier. That's the thought. It's like taking off of the plane. You know, the higher you go, the weight limit, you know, the higher you go, the harder it is for the weight limit to weigh you down, you know, when you sing. So you take the weight limit off, the farther you are from the weight limit, the easier it is to take off. It's that same thing when you sing. You know how to go lighter. You go up there, but you take the weight off. So then it becomes easier. And even how you make the sound a little bit more forward as you go higher too, you know, and you add like the healthy grit. You have to add that healthy growl in there, the healthy grit, which makes the sound even more colorful in texture and tangible in texture. I mean, but you know you can sing. I don't know why it is the news. You know you can sing. But yeah, you sound great. I mean, you always sound good though. So
thank you, brother. You said that in my analysis. You said, brother, you can sing.
I mean, like, I won't say other words, but I go say the words on your line. I'm saying, you know, you can say.
I'm gonna tell you though, Jaron, God really is using you because I actually really struggled very deeply with insecurity, and it was, boy, you can't sing. That's exactly the voice that I heard. So you've been consistent when you say that. And I just want to let you know that consistency, whether you know it or not, is like full of purpose. And I really appreciate it.
Amen. Well, thank you. God is good. I'm glad that, you know, I can help the people, you know. And a lot of times I don't know, you know, because I don't sit in front of these people and they don't, you know, they don't tell me because I don't talk to them. You know, a lot of times I'm just looking at a camera and then I go away, go about my business. You know, I don't think about anything about impacting people. I just kind of do what I do and just show up, do my thing, and I'm on to the next, you know, but it's always such a blessing when people come up to me, whether I'm in the airport, at a church, whatever, people come up to me, oh my God, I love your video when you said this. And I'm like, I said that? Oh my God. I sound so smart, you know, but like, I'm like, oh yeah. But, you know, I'm going to tell you before each video, each analysis, each, you know, audit that I do, I pray. I say, Lord, what do you want me to say in his video, even on YouTube. It's interesting when I did a YouTube creator confessionals, and it was so fun. And one of the questions that we had to confess in the video was like, what is your video ritual, recording ritual? And I was like, I checked the mic, because how many times I did a video, my mic don't work, so I'm like, you gotta check the mic, so I was like, I checked the mic, but then I was like, and I pray. They didn't put that part in there, which is okay, but I was like, I pray even for each video. I say, Lord, what do you have me to say, even if it's not gospel, I still want to find some way to encourage, or just some way to uplift people, even if it's just by me being present. Sometimes me being present is what is going to uplift somebody. I don't got to say Jesus, 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 every video. Yes. I'm just here, and I'm so glad that my light can shine, for his glory in that way. So you saying that, like, that kind of stuff just does my heart so good. Not that I want the glory. I just be like, I'm glad that, what I'm doing is help. Thank you, Jesus. And that's all I got, so yeah, thank you for sharing that. I'm always appreciative when people share that kind of stuff with me. I'm so glad that, people are like, and that's the point. I don't need to be encouraged about their voice, encouraged to move a little further, do a little bit more, be free in your voice, love your voice, take care of your voice, people to feel that freedom in that, so you sharing that always means something to me when people share that. So thank you.
You so welcome, Jaron. Thank you, man. And as we wrapping up, bro, you said, take care of your voice. What are some good vocal health tips that, whatever they are, what are some good vocal health tips?
Sleep and drink water. Okay. They're main two things I live by. Now, there's some other things you can do too, but your two greatest allies is going to be rest, sleep, and water. Just keep your body hydrated. And I'll talk about regular water. Just regular water, just everyday water, and just make sure you get your adequate amount of sleep, because your voice heals in your sleep. Your body heals. That. That's a scientific fact. So your voice is part of your body. When your body heals, your voice heals. I cannot tell you how many times when I'm fatigued, before I feel it in my body, my voice will tell me. I just can't sing. I just be like, woof, or, sometimes I'm recording videos and I'm physically tired. I may not look it, but you may notice I don't sing a lot in certain videos. There's a reason for that. My voice is gone. So I go around it and I don't sing much in videos because my body, the outtakes that I have that I can show y'all, it would be so funny. The way I be cracking. But yeah, because I didn't sleep the night before. Like, I'm doing too much. So I'm like, I'm going to just talk this video out versus trying to sing it. Some of the videos that I'm like, singing in, I done slept. So all that to say, sleeping and water are your greatest allies. And the other thing I tell people, it used to be like, oh yeah, don't do this, drink mint, but everybody's body responds differently to different things. So knowing what your body responds to, besides sleep and water, that's gonna help you no matter what. But like, if a dairy gets in your way, don't eat no dairy before you sing. Now, if it don't, have all the milk you want. Like if it don't bother you, then do it. If candy, that sugar gets in your way, then don't do the sugar. Now, if it don't, have a gummy bear. Like, it really just up to the person. For me, if I sniff alcohol within a 10-mile radius, voice is gone for a week. Clockwork. It is so annoying because not that I'm even drink all, but it's just like, if I sniff wine, if I have a sip of wine, my voice is like, I'm talking like this for like 3 days. No lie. I'm talking just like this. And it's crazy. Like, it's just, but then like 4 days later, 5 days later, my voice is back. But the alcohol for me is a drying agent. The degree of alcohol is a drying. So I have to be mindful of that. If I go to a wedding, if I go to a party or whatever, I'm drinking water. Because 9 times out of 10, I got to record a video the next day, or I got to go to sing at church, or so I just don't drink alcohol anymore like that. Like, I can't remember the last time I had alcohol, to be honest, But yeah, so being mindful of the drying agents like menthol and alcohol and other things that may dry you out or cause too much gunk, like sugar or like dairy or like, whatever, salt. I don't know if salt does it, but, I'm just throwing stuff out there. But pay attention to what your body responds to, and that'll take your vocal health in terms of what to consume, what not to consume. But yeah, sleep and water. We are greatest allies. Go to sleep, drink some water.
And I had a question: how much sleep, how much water, when should you sleep?
I would say whatever the alignment for sleep for adults, 7 hours? I think for adults, something like that. Get your sleep. So if that's 7 hours, get you 7 hours. Get you whatever sleep time frame you need. I think the older we get, the less sleep you need. But yeah, I think it's like 7 hours. But then like with water, also people just the short answer, just constantly drink water. Just stay hydrated. Just stay there. You don't got to get there. But if you got to get there, start drinking water 2 days before what you got to do. You got to, 2 days before the performance, 2 days before, whatever. So like 2-3 days, just start drinking your water. So then it gets to your system, all the things. Because when you drink water the day of, the moment of, it's not going to your body. Well, it's not going to your bloodstream and your system. It's going down your throat, which is not where your vocal folds sit. There's two different ones. Your vocal folds are there to protect the airway. So if it goes on your vocal fold pipe, it's going to make you that stuff, So the purpose of vocal folds, the first purpose of vocal folds is to protect the airway. That's the first purpose. So you don't want it to go down that pipe. So when you drink it, the epiglottis flaps over. So it does go down the vocal fold pipe, if you will, goes down the other pipe. And then it goes into your stomach. And then it takes a minute to get into your body once it processes. So start drinking water a couple days before. Maybe get to go for the moment. But the greatest thing to do is just stay hydrated. Just stay with water. Just keep your water bottle on you. Drink water with every meal, or just keep sipping on water so you stay hydrated. So then you don't have to get hydrated. Hydration is good for life, not just for your voice. Because dehydration is a thing. That could put you in the hospital. It's a thing. So you don't want to dehydrate yourself. So just stay hydrated. Water, not Gatorade. Not all the water. Shoot. I mean, I like Gatorade too. I drink it every now and again because it's good. It tastes good, but it's not like my number one go-to for liquid or for fluids. It's water. So
I really appreciate that. I had an opportunity to talk to Karen one-on-one, and I asked her, and her number one was, she said, sleep. She said, baby, whatever, I'm going to make sure I get some sleep.
That's right, girl. That's right. Get you some sleep. Okay. Yeah. Go to sleep. Whatever you got to do to get that sleep in. Because that's going to help you. And that's probably why she has a voice. Because she rests.
Right. And I asked Michael Stampley too, because he sings all the way in heaven. He be tickling the Lord's feet. And I asked him, he said the same thing. Sleep resets the vocal folds. But
see, there it is.
Sleep.
It's sleep. I'm telling you, that sleep gonna change. It changed the game. Folk, I gotta grind. I gotta hustle. No, you need to go rest. You need to go to sleep. It can wait till tomorrow. Go to bed.
Go to bed.
It's now. Oh my gosh, oh my God, but people do that. They'll, coffee sometimes drives people out. Like I said, all that stuff depends on the body. But I'm telling you, that sleep is going to be your greatest ally. Just rest. Just rest, chill out, rest, take a nap, watch a movie, go to bed, close your eyes. And even if you can't go to sleep, what if you're excited about something? At least rest and be still. Close your eyes. Do something to just rest. Vocal rest is the thing too. Vocal rest, I do that sometimes depending on, how much I've sang. But honestly, sleep is going to be your best ally. Bottom line.
Yeah, I love you, brother.
I love you too.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah.
Anything you want to tell the people what's coming up next? Where can they find you? What would you like to share?
Well, you can find me at JM LeGrair Studio. That's JMLEGRAIR, then the word studio, all one word, on all those social platforms that you can think of. If you don't see my name on there, because I'm not on there. Other than that, I'm on there. You can find me there. Some stuff is happening soon, but I can't share just yet. So the point is to follow me and find out for yourself. But it will be the next couple weeks. Some stuff will be rolling out.
Okay.
But I don't want to share it just yet. I don't want to prematurely share it. But yeah, so follow me on the socials. You can subscribe to my email. Go to our website, jmlegrairstudio.com. You can sign up for studio emails. I don't send emails often. We don't send them very often at all. Probably every couple months. So it's not even like a weekly thing. Right now, we just kind of share big information, big news. We don't really do every week, every day. We don't do that to your inbox, so you gotta worry about that. But yeah, that's where you can find me. That's it. That's all. Just find me, interact. If you want to book a session, you can do that too on a website. All the things. So yeah.
Everybody give Jaron a virtual round of applause, a hand of praise. Thank you, Jaron. And I love Jay. Tell Jay, thank you so much.
I will. I will. It's so crazy that all our names start with a J. It's like, people are like, oh my God, your name starts with a J. I say, yeah, all of us here. All of us. It's J. I ain't doing it on purpose. It's just the people who I like happen to be J. And I said, well, we're going to go with it. So J is it. J. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Oh, man. Well, all right, fam. It's been great. And you can go back to YouTube. It will be still up there. Review, like, share. Love it.
Yes. All
right. Holla, fam.